House is resumed.
Mr Speaker, I seek...
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Sorry, Mr Speaker, I seek leave to move a motion without notice in relation to New Zealand's election to the United Nations Security Council.
Is there any objection to that course of action? There appears to be none. Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I move that this House recognise New Zealand's election to the United Nations Security Council for the term of 2015-16. Obtaining 145 votes against two highly respected and much larger nations is a major achievement. The overwhelming support in the vote on the 16th of October in New York is a testament to New Zealand's reputation as an independent, principled foreign policy contributor and an acknowledgement of our record at the UN over the past 69 years. It's also a strong affirmation of the important role that a small state like New Zealand can play on the Security Council. We ran a very strong campaign over close to a decade. I'd like to acknowledge the Right Honourable Helen Clark, who launched our Security Council campaign and the commitment of successive governments to it. There are several other people I wish to acknowledge as well, Mr Speaker. They include Foreign Minister Murray McCully for his leadership and dedication to the campaign. His Excellency the Honourable Jim Macleay and his team for their work at the coalface of the campaign in New York. The Special Envoys, Sir Don McKinnon, the Right Honourable Jim Bolger, Colin Keating, Amanda Ellis, Sarah Dennis and Lucy Duncan. The Opposition Foreign Affairs spokesman David Shearer for his assistance with the campaign. We were able to run a bipartisan campaign, and this was well received by the international community and I think counted significantly in our success. I'd also like to commend the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, including our missions around the world, who worked tirelessly on the campaign. We thank all those countries that supported us, Mr Speaker. We had strong friends and advocates in every region in the world, in Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, the Middle East, and Eastern and Western Europe. I'd also like to pay particular tribute to our friends in the Pacific and Asia who stood solidly behind our campaign. Throughout this campaign, New Zealand has gained a new level of profile on the international stage and strengthened our reputation as an active global citizen. We look forward to serving alongside Spain on the Council, and I'd like to acknowledge Turkey's commitment to their campaign and the UN system. We've also made new connections with a diverse range of countries, and Security Council membership will allow us to increase our international engagement even further. This is a once-in-a-20-year opportunity for New Zealand to sit at the world's top table. We look forward to again making a meaningful contribution to the important work of the Security Council. Speaker, I remember when I went to speak to the United Nations and the permanent representatives, an opportunity I had to go and speak to the African Congress and the African Union members, and at the time the indication from the chair was that there would be no questions. I would simply make an intervention and leave. And after I made my intervention, the permanent representative from Rwanda put up her hand and asked the chair if she could make a statement. The chair obliged, and the permanent member got to her feet and said to the members of the African Union that they should look around, that they should be all voting for New Zealand, that it was the people of the representation of New Zealand that saved literally millions of people from Rwanda. This was a small country who showed significant influence on the other members of the Council, and she put it to the members of the African Union that if it wasn't for New Zealand's contribution, the situation would have been very different. Mr Speaker, a small country can make a big difference on the world stage. I think the bipartisanship shown over the last 10 years and the efforts of our ministry and a great many other people have contributed to New Zealand once again being given an opportunity to represent those who are in the greatest of need. Over the next few years, it will be a challenging time for the world. New Zealand's contribution, Mr Speaker, will be valued.
The question is the motion. The question is the motion be agreed to.
Mr Speaker,
Shearer.
The Labour Party supports the government's motion in recognising our election onto the UN Security Council. More